Hello everyone, this is Gayle, and I just looked up and my camera's crooked. There you go, that's a little straighter. Today I'm going to do something a little different, which seems to be kind of what I have to do. For those of you that don't know, I'm in the process of getting ready to move, and my house is being shown, so I have to make do with what few supplies are not packed up, because you know the craft room has got to look just as good as the rest of the house, and that's not easy. And you probably know what I mean. I was just evening up some edges here. But I've got some clay left over from another project that hopefully you've seen. If not, go back and look. But this is some opal, some Sculpey opal clay mixed in with some black. And I just like the way it looks. And I had this left over from another project. And I thought, well, what can I do that will, where I can use this for something else. So I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my Perfect Pearls out. Don't know that I'm going to use the turquoise. Let me see what other color I've got that would go good with the gold. I'm sorry, my box is over here and I'm just kind of looking at it. I've got some green. Green goes good with gold. I've got blue. Blue goes good with gold. Let me just go with the blue, because maybe I'll wear these. Who knows? But you see, I've got my clay on a piece of plastic, and the main reason is I'm going to use Perfect Pearls on both sides of this clay. Now you can use a brush, you can use your finger. I'm going to use a brush. This is Perfect Gold. And you can see how it's going to cover. It's going to have a little bit of a sparkle, which is what I want. But this side is going to be Perfect Gold. And I'll even this out after I get it all on. I'm going to go all the way to the end because I'm going to cut this into strips. I just want to make sure it's like gold on one side and then another color on the other side. And you can pick whatever color you want. And if you have other types of mica powders, then go ahead and use them. I prefer the Perfect Pearls mainly because there is a resin mixed in with this powder, and when you heat it in the oven with the clay, it kind of bonds with the clay. So I do like Perfect Pearls, but others will work. So let me pick this up, and I'm going to fold my plastic. I'm going to place the gold side down, and now I'm going to use, I should have probably wiped this brush off, but I'll do it right here. And on this side I'm going to use blue. And this is probably Forever Blue, because, yep, Forever Blue. They have a Forever Green and a Forever Red and a Forever this and a Forever that, and this is a Forever Blue. I love this blue. It's sort of a royal blue. But I'm just going to show you a quick way to make a pair of earrings in whatever color you like. If you hear a hum in the background, that's I have another project in the oven. So now I've got blue on one side. It looks pretty even. And I'm going to get rid of the plastic because I don't want to blend my colors. Just to show you, I keep my Perfect Pearls in a little bin. It goes in these, it's a 3-drawer thing. And I leave a brush in here that I use for my Perfect Pearls, so I don't have to look for a brush. So I'm going to throw that away. So now, let me get a paper towel because I can just see me making a mess. I've got a straight edge here that you saw me cut at the beginning. And I'm going to trim that off because I want the black to show. On the edges. And I'm going to cut 2 strips. And I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch. There. So now I've got 2 strips that are gold and blue. And my Mylar is sticking out a little bit. If you don't want it sticking out, you can press it in, but it doesn't bother me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take, and I didn't get one out. I need an eye pen, so let me just use what I have here. I always have T-pens and all kinds of things around. I'm going to take one end and I'm going to put the gold side up and I'm going to punch a hole right there. And I'm going to leave it on here. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to make some swirls. And then come around and put the blue side up. I'm sure you're going to want to see me do that again. And you can fiddle with them to get them the way that you want them. I kind of like that. Let me see if I have another eye pen in here. If not, I'm going to have to go over to my desk. No, I do have one. I'm going to try to do the same thing with the other one. We'll see if they'll turn out the same. Gold. And then just go like this. Take a couple of circles, make one full loop. And then twist the end. And there we've got 2. Oops, I think I just about broke through this a little while ago. Let me cut that off. But there you go. I've got 2 earrings. And while I've got something baking in the oven, I think I'm going to go ahead and bake these too. So I'm going to bake these in the oven and then I'll be right back. Okay, these are out of the oven. I'm going to pull the eye pins or T-pins or whatever you want to call these out. Put them back in my little container for next time. And you can see they're flexible because they were baked for an hour. And what I thought I would do is just take a little emery board and go over these edges just to get the mylar flakes, the opal flakes off of the edge here. And do the other side. And I just like to use a nail file for things like this. I've got all different kinds of files. But nail files, they're big enough to handle and yet small enough to store away easily. So I think that one is done pretty good. And you can see maybe you can't see the difference, but see the difference in this one, it's got all the things sticking out of it, and this one is smoother on the edges. So I'm just going to take this same thing, I'm just going to take a nail file and go over this edge, just so it's not scraggly looking. And you get right up in here. There's some sticking out there. You can see this mylar flying everywhere. Just be sure you get both sides. I almost forgot this side. I thought I was about finished, and then I turned it over and there was more. So you got to be sure that you get both sides. And if your clay was conditioned well and you baked it for a long enough time, you'll be able to bend this clay. Now, if you want, you can coat this with something. I'm not going to. I like the way the raw clay looks, and with the perfect pearls on it, it has a shimmer to it. So I'm not so concerned. Can you see all this stuff on my table? Let me get that out of the way. There. I don't like having too much in my way. Now, I don't know. I think this is going to be too tall for the jump rings that I have, so I'm just going to cut the tips off. So another thing I like about polymer clay is it's soft and you can just cut it with scissors. And I'm going to take my jump rings. And I love these twisted jump rings. I got them from Fire Mountain Gems, but I have a terrible time finding the little, the opening. Okay, so I'll go through this one. Probably ought to still use my pliers rather than try to hold on to that with my fingers. Or maybe I ought to try going from the front. I'm thinking this other hole isn't quite as big. And just Where's my pen vise? That's probably what I ought to use. Well, it's in there now. There. I think that will make it much easier now that the hole is big enough. Oh, I can also switch them and put the gold in the front or the blue in the front. And I think I will switch just because the gold looks a little bit better on that end. When you're working with circles like a jump ring, some things are really difficult to get situated, and then once you get them on there, they're fine. I'm going to leave that open. Let me close it a little bit. I don't want this to fall back out. And let me do the other one. Hopefully this one won't be quite as difficult. I find if I run my fingernail over this outside, I can usually feel where the opening is. And I don't feel it at all on that one. In case you're interested, here is the packaging from Fire Mountain Gems with the number on it and everything, in case you're interested in getting these. These are 8mm jump rings. And I think because it's a bag of like 100 or whatever, I think some of them just don't have an opening. I think that's it. Sometimes I start twisting this open and then find out that wasn't an opening. Oh, but that is it. Lucked out that time. I'm going to do the same thing with the ends of this. Cut some of this end off. And let's see, how did I have this one? I've got the gold in the front. Well, I'm just not doing very well today, am I? There you go. And pull it back almost together, because you want to put your little earring thing in there. and bend it the rest of the way. There's one earring. And there's the other earring. Now, if you can, once you get your earring on there, your earring thing, if you can turn your jump ring so that the seam is inside and you won't see it, and that way you know it's not going to come off of your earring. Let me do the same thing with this one. So now the opening is inside and there's nothing for this to come out of. But there you go. There is a pair of quick earrings. It's late in the afternoon and the sun is coming in my window, but it really helps to show off these earrings. And there's another piece of mylar there, but that's just another quick way of making some earrings in any color that you like. So I hope you like this. Come back again soon for another polymer clay video. Bye-bye.